So we look at AVOD as part of the whole from a video perspective, so kind of a holistic video approach. Um, we all know that linear impressions are decreasing, but it really is a migration from one way of watching video to another way. So that's the positive, that's the good news. So how do we capture those viewers as they migrate to different platforms? So we look at reach more from an incremental reach to what we are getting from TV. And I know that's tough right now. The measurement isn't necessarily there, but that's how we look at it. So we definitely go through a massive education process on a daily basis, because as everybody knows, there's a new streaming service popping up every other week, which is the good news, right? So let's understand what they have to offer from a programming perspective, from a scale perspective, from a subscriber perspective, ad load, measurement, all of that, and then determine, can that new streaming service be a part of the overall video kind of output that we give for our clients to really help with that incremental reach.
So what do marketers expect out of AVOD? I mean, clearly it's much closer to digital. Are they, what are they expecting from their investment that might be different from linear?
Yeah, the expectation, quite honestly, for AVOD is to be the extension of linear. I think we have a really good buy-in that, kind of like what I just said, that consumers are watching premium video. They're just watching it differently. And we've used premium video and that viewership for big brand pushes, awareness, launches. I think the expectation is for AVOD to continue to carry that torch. I think right now it's a little difficult because the scale and the reach isn't necessarily there. There is a little bit of a digital wish list, if you will, when it comes to audiences and more engagement. Sometimes we kind of have to temper how we can accomplish that through AVOD. But I think overall, AVOD really is looked upon as an extension for awareness video.
Tell me about the use of data in planning, measurement, the tools you have now and the tools you would like to have.
Yeah, the data usage for AVOD is, again, a little bit more digital focused, which is great. But if we continue with the theme that we're using AVOD a little bit more so from the awareness objective, we don't want to get too granular with our data, but putting a couple of layers on top of an agent demo is a really great way to be additive to what we're currently doing with linear video. We use programmatic platforms as tools. We use our partners who have their own data that they've rented, if you will. Some partners that we work with, some clients have their own data, their CRM data. So data is more important than ever in the video world, and it's more available for video, especially in linear, but of course for the AVOD perspective too.
Now, ad experience is very important, and consumer preference is really becoming front and center to how the industry is going. What are some of your thoughts about ad load, interactive advertising, the way that advertising is thought about, and how these streaming services like Tubi and others can sort of modify or meet consumer expectations?
Right. I think this, especially this year, is going to be one of the biggest conversations, ad load, because it's a challenge. It's a challenge for consumers as they watch. They want less and less, because on the non-AVOD side, so the subscription-based streaming services, they have no ad loads, and they like that. That's not to say that consumers absolutely want no advertising whatsoever. I think we all know that, but they would like less. And so our media partners are selling less so that they can compete. And from an investment perspective, which is the lens through which I need to look at everything, that causes a challenge on the advertiser side, right? So not only are impressions going away on the linear side, and the streaming impressions aren't necessarily overly robust, we're taking a lot of those impressions out of sale because they're giving the consumers, and therefore advertisers, lower ad load. So there's a positive and a negative there that needs to be weighed. I think we're still learning how to work with, use more engagement type advertising on these streaming services. I have a couple of clients who have been charter advertisers with some of these streaming services, and we've worked very, very closely with them to understand what we can get, what kind of results we can see. Are they business results? What's the front end part of that? What type of creative work? Who else within the agency or within the advertising marketing team needs to be involved in this process versus just producing a 30-second spot? So I think the good news is there's a ton of opportunity. We just need to see which works best for each client individually.
And finally, you guys, as an independent agency, do a lot in terms of including creative, which most of the media agencies don't. So you have a unique perspective on creative, and you guys have been doing some great work around apartments.com. And so often the conversation doesn't involve the creative process or the creativity of the medium itself. What are some of your thoughts about sort of how creative should be changing, is changing, how you guys see it changing to be more relevant to consumers?
Yeah, I think it is the relationship between media investment people and creative people has got to be closer than ever now for that very reason, for exactly what we're talking about. The new advertising opportunities on streaming services, you have to be in lockstep with your creative team, and almost at the very beginning need to alert this team that there are new opportunities down the pike. So when you're starting to produce, make sure that you have some form of video assets that can be edited, that actually can be used for streaming only, and that can be used to literally amplify and advance our clients' creative output and therefore our results with our media plans.